Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at a very big one, the Mythic Legion's Uumbra. I think that's how you pronounce Uumbra. This is so big, so we can't really do the review quite the same way as usual, but I'll see if I can show you most of it. As for Uumbra, here is the profile, if you can read that. Okay, and we also have this information on the back, which I think is telling the Mythic Legion's story. Should be in focus. Okay, and then get this nice artwork of the horse being ridden by some kind of bad guy, I think. Okay, and then the other side, we've got this, the Four Horsemen sort of logo. I don't know my Mythic Legions that well, as I told you before. I guess this is the Four Horsemen's logo, probably, since it does look like a four, and the bottom of the box looks like this. You might be wondering, why did I get a giant horse? I got this to make the Dread Knight's steed. So Dread Knight is an Iron Man bad guy. Most of my Marvel Legends and most of my purchases are something to do with Marvel Comics, but Marvel doesn't make a horse, or at least not yet. Then maybe they will soon after this, but I'm willing to bet that they're not going to make a black horse that's cheap, that's easy to customize. So this one was not cheap, but I think it does have a good amount of detail, and I think it does have some good options for making Dread Knight's horse. So this thing was already opened, so I'm sorry it's not exactly as it came. So if I call this an unboxing, I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but I did take it out of the package. And it has some little bits and bobs that I was not 100% positive where they originally were. That's my bad for forgetting how the horse was packed in here. But we'll look at the accessories first, as always. So we have these alternate pieces. I believe this goes on part of his mane, maybe? Oh, it's not in focus, sorry. I believe this goes on part of his mane, but it's a little bit mysterious. I need to play with the horse more to figure out where it goes. I did see some other people's reviews, since I don't know much about Mythic Legions, but I didn't have like a very clear idea of where it's supposed to go. Okay, and this is the alternate mane. You can see the mane that he has now has these little gold ridges on it. This is the alternate mane that you can put on him. It plugs in there. And we also have this alternate tail, which is just black hair. I guess you would call it hair, or do you call it fur? I think it would be called hair. So horse's tail. We also have this nice alternate head. I'm probably going to be customizing both of the heads, but I haven't decided which one I'm going to try first. But I suppose if I wanted to try to use this horse in some other way, it would be wise to keep this head, since it's just normal, typical horse head. But okay, you can see how it ports on here in the back. It does have like a hole plug for a ball joint to socket into. Okay, and that's just that empty plastic package. Okay, and moving on to the horse himself, he is secured in here by some twisties, but I have removed a couple of them. I think he had twisties down here at the bottom, though I seem to have either thrown them away or misplaced them. But sometimes when I get a figure that's not my traditional thing to review, I try not to keep everything because I don't think I'm going to do a review. But when I tried to research more about the Mythic Legion's horses, I was kind of surprised by the lack of number of reviews on the internet for this guy, so I thought it could be helpful to people who are curious about this, considering getting it for one reason or another. So I plan on customizing it completely, so I don't have the plan to keep it in this condition. And I will warn you one thing about this guy. It is a Mythic Legions thing, so it does come with a little disclaimer paper, I think, saying you may have to heat the joints. I actually didn't remember seeing the paper in this one, but I think he probably came with it. But yeah, I did try to do some stuff without heating this guy up because I wasn't too worried if some of the things are going to break. That is because I'm going to change and I don't need a lot of this stuff. But you can see his hooves are packed in here. I'll pop these guys off. Okay. The amount of detail in the construction of this thing is quite impressive, so I do like it. I'll give you one more disclaimer. So I did mess with this guy already, and when I tried to pop this part off, I did break one part here. So I don't plan on using it in the condition that it's in, but I think I just put some glue on here. You can see where it popped out. A little tabby popped out of here. So hopefully you can see that. Though it is pretty small. Okay, so out of the box, this guy comes with his unicorn horn. And I saw that some other people, maybe Kyle Peterson, he had the problem with his where the horn was broken when he got it. Mine was not broken, but I did give it a yank to destroy it. So actually the horn has been removed from mine because I chose to do so. You can see the horn's material. Oops, you can see the horn's material here. It has a nice paint job to it. It's sort of cast in a brownish plastic, and then it has a silver dry brush effect on it. And it also has, I think it has a black wash in here. I don't think that's just the natural shadows. It should be an actual wash too. But it's kind of hard to tell sometimes because of the way the lighting works. Sometimes it looks like it has a wash, but it's actually the lighting just sits naturally inside the sculpt and darkens it. So, but you can tell the unicorn horn does point up a little bit, which is kind of odd. But I'm going to keep this off because I think it'll probably fall off during the review. I should tell you another thing, because of this horse being Dread Knight's horse, it's going to be like genetically modified horse. It's going to have like big talon type claws on it when I get it finished. And it's also going to have sort of a dragony appearance. So he even has wings to allow him to fly. The wings that I got, I'm afraid, might be small because this thing actually is quite huge. If we put my customized Mary Jane here next to him, you can see he does stand really tall. Real horses are quite big, but I do think this is a pretty powerfully built horse. I think that the Mythic Legions things will want that. They'll want it to look like a incredibly strong, like, beast, since they are going with the whole dramatic look. But anyways, we're gonna move this Mary Jane off to the side if she'll stand up, since she's got loose joints. So looking at the figure a little bit closer, you can see it does have a lot of good detail, a lot of cool colors that they chose to use here. I don't know so much about horses. A good friend of mine invited me and my wife. He and his wife invited me and my wife to go riding one time, and that was a really good experience. I would highly recommend that kind of experience to anybody. So I really appreciate that. That was a lot of fun. But as of now, I haven't ridden a horse again since that time. And there's not a whole lot of opportunities where I'm at in Japan unless I have a lot of money to do so. And to spend to do so. But anyways, I don't know what these are supposed to be exactly. Whoa. I don't know what these are supposed to be exactly. I think I had a figure fall over there. But I'm going to be using this sculpt to make the Dread Knight's steed's mane, I guess you would say. But on Dread Knights, it's going to look a little bit similar to this, so I can use this as a base for my sculpting. Sorry, I think it's kind of out of focus. This guy is huge, so it is hard to focus on. Looking at the details of the figure, we're going to try to see what we can do with it. The head comes off very easily, which is kind of strange, but that's the way that the horse is designed. This inner part, you can see, also sits really loose, but you can just pop it off. But this part goes in here, and then it allows him to have quite a bit of posability. I can't exactly do the usual looks up, looks down part, but getting this back in here is kind of a trick. Just a moment. I think I probably shouldn't have popped it off so soon, because then it makes it harder to do the review. Okay, it's popped on. When it's on, it moves a lot tighter, but it will hold the pose a lot better. Okay, so it's popped on now. I would recommend just like sort of semi-popping it off if you want, just to make it have more flexibility. But it does give you a pretty good range of motion. You can make a pretty natural looking position for the horse. Okay, but it does also pop out kind of easily. So, okay, and for the up and down range, it is limited to this joint, and because of all the gear, we can't see the joint very clearly, but it seems to be a dumbbell joint or just a solid ball joint. But I would guess it's just a solid ball joint by the way it's moving. But yeah, you can get a lot of positions from this, so looks good and it's realistic in its posing. Or at least I think. All right, as far as his front legs go, so you have these joints here and you have rotation at the joint. Sorry, I want it to stay in focus, but there's so much to focus on. Okay, you have some rotation, but you don't want to push it too much because it is limited by the sculpt. It'll go up to about there and back to about here. Okay, and then to get more dynamic poses, you're going to want to move this joint. It will go back that far. Forward, not at all because of the sculpt. This one also does rotate a little bit, but again, you're limited by the sculpt, so don't push it or you're going to damage some of these like pieces that would overlap each other. Okay, and the last joint moves like this. Okay, a very important joint to have. As far as the swivel on it, it doesn't appear to swivel very much, but it does have a little bit of give. But yeah, I'd watch that. Don't want to push it. Okay. As far as the back leg goes, the back leg's joint also has this option to go out a little bit. So if you spread out the legs, you can have them go out like that. The range is very limited, but it kind of reminds me of that Jurassic Park, was it the Hammond Collection? Yeah, Hammond Collection Triceratops. It's kind of similar for the design of that. But forward is just about this much, so you can't go forward too far, back, you can go back a long ways. So you can even push it a little bit more probably. Okay, so you can really, really, really go back. Oh, I lost part of the saddle. We'll talk about that soon. Okay, and then his next joint is here. It'll go forward this far and back, whoops, back that far. Okay, and then I'm gonna have to keep it off. Okay, it's a little extra piece, but it does come off kind of easily. Okay, this joint will go this far and this far back. It does have a little bit of give to it, so you can push it a bit further if you want, but I would be careful doing that. It kind of sits naturally here, but yeah, you can flex it just a little bit further. As far as the swivel, this one has the widest range of any that I've seen so far. Okay, I mean on this figure. And this one, it will go forward this much. Sorry, this much and back this much. Okay. Does it have swivel? Yes, it has a little bit of swivel, but it feels really tight, so I wouldn't push it. Okay. Moving on. So I took this part off, but I suppose with the other Mythic Legions parts, you can get different colored pieces for his, what is it, harness. There's a whole set of words here. We have some paint chippage. Do you see that on my hand? Whoops. I got a little bit of paint on here. So it sort of looks like it would just be plastic, but apparently it is painted also, but it probably depends on which part of the figure I'm talking about. Here I can tell is painted. Is that in focus? Yeah. No, it's in focus. Sorry. Okay, so this part is definitely painted, but I don't know where that paint was coming off. It might have came off when I was posing these around. There's probably a good chance. But this should just be cast in black plastic, I think. But anyways, as far as his harnesses and all the stuff, I don't know the terminology because I'm not a horse guy. But as far as all that goes, I think you can take much of it off. You can see it seems to be flexible, but I'm not going to do all of that on camera today. But I will say, if you take this off, be careful doing so, because that's when I rip this piece. I don't plan to use it, like I said, in this style, so it's not a big deal to me. My guy is not going to have the same equipment, but you do want to watch that if you're paying as much as this guy costs. I think this guy was he $80 maybe? $80 or $90 or something like that. But I bought him a while back. I just haven't done much with him yet. So, but anyways, that is Uumbra. Oh, I forgot one thing. Sorry, he does have a swivel with a ball joint on his tail, so it'll get you all around. Okay. As far as his body, he doesn't have any kind of like torso twist or diaphragm joint or anything. It's just a solid piece running through. So you have to use that neck if you want to get more dynamic poses as far as the whole body movement goes. But okay, I'm sorry guys, I forgot also, this saddle piece is kind of optional, so you can pop it off, pop it on. It does tend to come off easily, but I would say most people are not going to play with this thing. They're just going to pose it. Okay, we'll get a measurement on his height and then we'll get out of here. This guy stands to the top of his head, or to the top of his neck, in this sort of neutral pose. He is standing at, is that 8? Yeah, about 8.5 inches. So very close to 8.5 inches, about 21.5 centimeters. So it's a pretty tall horse, but I don't know the real normal horse measurements, honestly. About how long is he, we'll try to check from his back of his butt to the tip of his nose. This is very rough, guys, but around here, so darn near 10 inches basically to his butt. That's not counting his tail, but from the nose to tail, nose to butt, nose to behind. Okay. Let's see if we can put Spidey on here just real quick. Okay, if you want to see what typical Marvel Legends would fit, or how it would look, or how it would fit with this guy. He looks pretty good on there. So my Spidey was just sitting on the box in the background, but he does look pretty good on there. So, okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next one. F-Ice, and hope to see you again. Bye for now.